Welcome back, viewers. Master Coach 89 here for another Madden Talk podcast. With me, I have Jake.
What's up, guys?
And Ronnie.
Hey.
Yeah. All right, so today we're compiling our wish list and just going to generally talk about them and give some ideas of what we want from just Madden in general. Not necessarily Madden 18 or Madden 19, but what we'd like to see. And do a kind of a round table discussion like we've been doing. So, Ronnie, start us off, buddy.
I'd like to start off with maybe a little bit of nostalgia to other players that have actually kind of grown with Madden as a kid. Almost like mini games or rushing attack, which was one of the big things I loved to do as a kid. Not only was it fun, but it helped me, helped my game with the rushing, what to look for, and how to just dodge defenders. That's just one of the small things I'd like to see back. Just kind of games like that. I remember they had stuff like precision kicking too. And,
Bench press.
Yes.
The
combine. How the combine did it, and what was that? 2008.
Well, that was just a part of the mini games too.
It was under Superstar, but yeah, I know what you're saying with also the training camp because I have this on my list too.
Yes,
we haven't looked at each other's lists or talked about this before this, but I have that on my list too. And training camp back in the older days where you had, the passing and the punting, and you went to all the different camps and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I have that on my list too. So obviously I want to see that back as well. For mostly the same reasons you said. Also, it would be cool now because now you have online play.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be cool to face your friends off in mini games like that. And I know EA can do it because back in NCAA 10, I think they had a bunch of mini games. They had bowling, where you were on the 10-yard line and you had 2 downs to get a touchdown. So if you got a touchdown on the first play, it's a strike. But if you got 7 yards and didn't get in the end zone, you would have gotten 7 points there. And you played bowling. You played 10 frames.
I didn't know.
And you could play against someone. And then they had also, you know what I'm talking about, Josh. They had another mini game where you could basically you had one play. Basically, tug of war.
Tug of war.
Yeah, you had one play. So say we start at the 50. I throw a 25-yard bomb to my receiver. And then I'm done. So you start from the 25 now, and you have to push me back. So it's a game of tug of war. So I would like to see those things. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to see it. I think it would be fun, especially in online play.
Friendly and competitive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it adds a different layer to Madden or just the football in general, and they're talking about how they want to bring more people in, more casual players. Would it help them bring in more casual players? Yeah. I mean, this isn't just a casual player feature. I mean, I would love to have that stuff, like the bench press and stuff at the combine and do the mini games and stuff, or your superstar and stuff, or actually see the rookies do it. But I like the ideas.
I mean, and like you said, for new players and everything, it's just a casual way for them to have fun and actually get used to the field.
Exactly.
I think it'd be a good idea.
All right, Jake.
All right. So my first one is a big one, and that is, commented on it a couple episodes ago when we were talking about long shot. And my first thing is a really immersive career mode, such as that of a Road to the Show. Basically, I want to be a high school prospect, and I want to go all the way to NFL. I want to play for 16 seasons. I want to go to the Hall of Fame. I want to do the Combine. I want to play the Pro Bowl. I want to have interactions with my teammates in the locker room. Mm-hmm. This year in Road to the Show, you actually have interactions with the media and other players and your manager. And your advisor and your agent. So, that's super cool, and I think that's something that they could do that could make career mode really immersive for someone and have another mode besides Ultimate Team and franchise mode that they can really suck people in with. Because, who doesn't want to be an NFL player?
Right.
So, yeah, that's basically the number one thing on my list because I know I would do nothing but play for hours, and I know that they have an option to do that and connected franchise, but it's not immersive, and it gets very boring after a while. And you have to playing in first person, which would be cool, but have the option to not to play it in third person, So that's the number one thing on my list. So what do you guys think about that?
That was actually sort of similar to one of mine on the list. I did have just bring Superstar back, but I liked how more in depth that would go. I remember one of the older Maddens, you would actually answer interview questions.
And you'd have your own apartment and stuff.
Yeah,
You took the Wonderlic.
Exactly, and I really miss that because it kind of gives you that real feel like I can be somebody. It's just a nice feeling, and not only that, you feel more competitive because of course, you want your stats to be the best in the league at all time.
Right, and yeah,
I think it's just something fun to base off of, and give you more reason to play Madden instead of just playing other people.
Exactly, and once again, it would bring more people in, and that's what Madden's trying to do. They're trying to bring more people in, so they can get more core players. So you can see, I don't know, just get more money, but also just see the replay value in the game. Because after so many weeks, sometimes you see people just drop off. And Jake, that really is a good idea. I feel the same. I wish they would bring something like what the show has, because once again, Superstar and CFM is bare bones.
Yeah,
there's nothing. It's just you play games. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I know I said this a couple episodes of Long Shot, which I was really disappointed about, but at least it's a step in the right direction. But we'll see going forward. I think it's coming. I really do, because all the other sports franchises have one that's immersive, and I feel like
they gotta compete.
Yeah, they gotta compete. So it's coming, just a matter of when, not why,
right,
or whatever.
I feel like Long Shot is the answer. It's just not exactly what we're expecting right now. Once again, it just depends how the mode's taken by the community. Once it's taken, if it's taken well, then they can actually expand on it like you want, which would be really nice. And this isn't really one of my wish list things, but something Miller brought up to us was Long Shot is actually bringing in more crowd. He actually sounded like he was truly interested in it. He's like, yeah, this is actually adding something really good to the game. They haven't done something like this in years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe just every couple of years bring in a new mode, or really flesh out some new ideas into the mode in general.
Yeah. I just want something that I can play forever.
Right.
I want something that I can play from August to August
Exactly.
until the new Madden comes out. Because at this point, we're just playing play now games, just because there's really nothing else to do in the game,
Right.
So.
And that's really what we're doing right now. We're just doing a little draft champions, play friends, and me and you kind of open up a CFM just to try out some of the rookies. But other than that, we're not really that interested.
I mean, the game kind of gets burnt out. So I mean, this is something that, if you have a Long Shot, I mean, these things can be separate too. If you have a Long Shot, if you have a draft champions, if you have an ultimate team, you have a franchise, you have a career mode, that's 5 modes that you can do that can, really immerse a player and really, draw people in and bring people in. And that's what it's all about. So
if they continuously flesh out the modes, it would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's give you more of a variety to choose from. It's basic.
So mine was kind of a basic wish list thing, but Ronnie, so I'm going to pass it back off to you.
I know I touched on this a little bit last week, but create a team. I'm not necessarily saying, have to throw it in, kind of just mess up the whole 32-team league, but just something to where you can say, just have something to pride about. I remember I used to take so much pride in creating a Hamilton, Ohio team.
Right.
That's just something fun, creative, ideal.
To bounce off of that, Team Builder
NHL.
from NCAA would be a good way to integrate the create a team.
Do you remember that?
Not too much, to be honest.
The roster builders at places such as Operation Sports and, just people in the game, they would create actual high schools. So in the Road to Glory mode,
Yes.
which is one of my favorite modes, I would download the whole entire GMC and play the GMC, which is our hometown team's conference for the listeners, and play all that. I'd play Coleraine, Middletown, Mason, Lakotas, Princeton, all that stuff. So that was fun, and that could be something that could be added because they've already done it before. I feel like we keep going back to that stuff.
Well, the NCAA and Madden teams are actually separate teams, but if they could bring somebody in from the NCAA team, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's all EA though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was just something short and sweet that I just like to see back. I mean, it's just like I said, it's just fun to be able to have something that you take pride in.
Yeah, and then for the roster builders who like creating the the historic teams, that'd be nice to have back, because there used to be so many people who create teams and make the historic teams like the 1989 Bengals, or
To piggyback on that, this isn't on my list, but it would be cool to do something like that to where you could edit out teams and add them in. So if I really wanted to like do like a 70s franchise and like create all the rosters and everything, and like this is really digging super deep, like not have the Jaguars and not have the Panthers and all the expansion teams, or have the Oilers still be a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that would be cool too. Just trying to piggyback on what you're saying there, but yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I might as well just knock it out because that was pretty much one of my things on my list is bringing back dominant dynasties. Almost like it's the teams with Terry Bradshaw when he won, 4 Super Bowls? Joe Montana, Jerry Rice is their team. Just all the
historic teams.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like you were saying. And, I don't even think you have to take them out. Maybe just have a mode to where you can pick one of those teams and just go head-to-head.
Kind of like a Madden Moments.
Almost like, Madden Moments / Dream Team type feel.
The reason I'm not trying to shoot that idea down because I actually like it too. Yes, the licensing of likeness of the players. Not all the legends are licensed. They have to agree to it. Like T.O., he hates EA, so he don't agree to it. That's why we have.
I think he's just mad because nobody in the NFL wants him anymore. I feel like that's the thing.
Basically, in the older games that it might be some with the NFLPA now that the collective bargaining agreement has changed.
Yes,
but when they had those older teams, they would just have number whatever, and same thing in the NCAA games, but that they got shot down for that too because of the likenesses.
What was it, like 4 years
ago,
5 years ago?
3 years ago now.
Was it?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
But it's not a bad idea, Ronnie. Trust me, I'm the one who, I said create a team. Let's create, the historic teams. That would actually make it a lot easier. So I wish we could bring that back too. There's a lot of people in the community who want to see that back, but it's just one of those things where they can't really do it without losing money, and so. So Jake, we're gonna pass it on to you.
Well, this kind of piggybacks on that again.
That's okay.
Draft Champions is a mode that I've really gotten into lately, and one of the things I've noticed is a lot of the players are the same, and this has to do with the licensing again and the player likeness, but I would like to see more players added on into the game, because there's only about 100-ish so players that you can actually choose on your team, which is a decent amount. You can have different teams and such. But I want to see players like Jerome Bettis and Sean Alexander and Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and Mike Allstott even. That'd be something I would like to see, because as cool as it is having like Dallas Clark and Brian Dawkins on my team, I would like some variety.
Brian Dawkins was an option?
Yeah.
I have not seen him once. No.
Yeah. They have some... they're pretty good with like the older players and such, but... there could be more variety. There's only about 100, 120 or so players I think that you can actually pick from in Draft Champions. Maybe a little more.
Right.
But, yeah, I would just like to see that number expanded and just have a little bit more variety, because, it sucks, if I'm playing online. I have a LaDainian Tomlinson, the other person has a LaDainian Tomlinson. It's kind of, I don't know. Just something to think about.
Yeah, once again, that has to do a little bit with licensing, having some of those players. But... there should be a way we could kind of spread it out to where we don't see the same player on each team. Maybe some type of matchmaking thingamabob to where they could implement into that. Ronnie, you have anything you want to say about Draft Champions with what he said?
No, I completely agree with it. I see a lot of the same players almost every time I draft or redraft.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen Andrew Luck in my past 3 drafts, like the first
Kirk
round.
Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady.
Derek Carr.
Yes, and... You don't really see any other quarterbacks.
Right.
And I know a lot of the times they'll choose combine this player and then Super Bowl this player. Just keep doing that maybe.
With other players.
What's that?
With other players.
Yeah, exactly, with other players. Because the originality, it's not there on that part. I would just like to see more depth.
And that game mode's only a couple of years old too.
Yeah.
This is the second year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, they have... chances to expand on this. Is it confirmed that it's in this game?
Yes, it's going to be. It is going to be in 18, so that's a plus. They didn't take it out.
Speaking of which, I actually won a couple tickets today.
Uh-oh.
That was new for me.
Ranked tickets so you can play ranked games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was playing undrafted. I won my first game by a landslide. and then my first the two second, third, and fourth.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, second and third. They both quit before the first quarter, and then the last game was actually a nail biter. So that was a real accomplishment for me today, without losing a game. So that's nice.
Congrats, Ronnie.
Congrats.
Thanks, guys.
Josh, do you have something on your list?
Yeah, I got just a few things. Something that for the online community, what I'd like to see brought back is lobbies.
Okay.
And so you would do a play head-to-head game. You used to have like all kinds of lobbies, like the Patriots fans in this lobby, or etc.
Yeah.
So you could actually set the game the way you want it to. So say in the older Maddens, you used to have. You're fine. Used to have a fair play and stuff. They'll set some different options how you want to play a game.
Yeah, that's cool. They have like ranked games and stuff, but like it was always cool to like have the lobbies and stuff to have different play skills and types and fan ofs and all that kind of good stuff. So.
And then another reason why I want it back is because now you have the sim, and you have the competitive, and you have the arcade. Well, the play online is probably going to be on competitive. All the online plays are probably going to be competitive. So I want to be able to say, hey, I want to play with my friend. I want to play on sim.
You think so?
Yeah, that's being
That's 100%.
Well, like Ultimate Team, Draft Champions, and all that's definitely going to be competitive.
You don't feel like they'd have their own brackets for each mode?
No, because they don't really have the resources to do that right now. So if they bring the lobbies back, we can do it ourselves. Although I don't know how.
That would work with overall.
Yeah, I don't know how many resources it would take to make the lobbies again to do that.
Yeah,
So
that would be cool.
Yeah. All right, so that's really just kind of something I'm throwing out there because
I got something that is really ticky-tacky, and it's something that is close to my heart, though. We all know how much I care about uniform and equipments.
Fucking diva.
Can I get some one-arm sleeves, please? No. But before I get into this, they did take a big step last year and allowing the long arm sleeve. But almost everyone in the NFL now has a one arm sleeve. You know what I'm talking about? But it like ends right here, before the shoulder. It doesn't always get tucked in, and it looks like they're just wearing a long sleeve shirt with one of the sleeves cut.
I know there was some type of bug in it, and that's why they've been having issues with it.
Yeah, I read that too. That would be cool.
Right.
Also, more equipment options, more shoes.
They did do that last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that they did last year with the equipment. More shoes and everything. More shoes, more gloves, everything to make the game more realistic.
Right.
But
More current.
The sleeves are my big thing.
That would be an awesome way to show off their 4K and stuff into this game too, with all the graphics they've been working on.
Yep.
Pay more attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
That'd actually be a nice way to introduce.
I mean, am I wrong for wanting to see some bicep?
I mean, I can feel it. Show off your guns. I think it.
So that, and then also, this was like I don't want to say it was like a bug, but like, you have the sleeves that quarterbacks wear. Most quarterbacks wear that are baggy, like the sleeve. Most defensive linemen, offensive linemen have like the cutout where you can like see their armpits, and then a lot of wide receivers have like the elastic around their arm, and then a lot of the quarterbacks have the baggy sleeves.
Flag. Yeah.
On some teams like the Steelers, the Chiefs, if you have a quarterback on there, their sleeve won't have like a logo. Like it'll be just like a blank sleeve, and it just kind of irritates me. Like if I'm like Ben Roethlisberger and I'm on the Steelers, like how they have the stripe, the yellow and white stripe on the side on their home jerseys or on their aways. You don't see that. It's just like a black sleeve or like a straight white.
I don't know.
And I don't know. It's just kind of irritating and takes away from the realism of the game. But I mean, that's something tiny and something not really worth being picky about.
No. Completely agree. You're not nitpicking. There's actually Equipment Guru on Twitter. I'm gonna give you his description so you can actually tell him that because he's working on it. He really is, and it's really good stuff. It adds realism to the game.
I mean, they've done a great job the past couple years with uniforms and equipment, and I love how they have almost every uniform in the game now. Like past uniforms, besides the Bengals, they don't have like the 2000s uniforms. What I've noticed.
Probably because we did nothing in the 2000s. So.
Well, it would be cool just to have like every single uniform ever, and they're close to it. They probably have 95% of the uniforms that have been used on the field. So that's cool, and I really appreciate all the work they've done because that makes the game more immersive in my eyes. It's just having those uniforms and
more customization.
More customization, all the uniform edits and uniform, all the stuff you can do. So
yeah,
that's it.
Ronnie, you got any more comments on that or anything?
No, I can't say I do.
That was pretty long-winded, but
no, that's okay. I understand. That's one of the things you really deep dive into, especially since you're a roster editor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you want all those customization options.
Yeah, you love to take your sweet time on that. So, and there's other people out there just like you.
There's a
gotta
lot
make
of people.
gotta make my players look cool.
Yeah, all about the swag.
I mean, I really like that they allowed full roster editing this past year too. Like you can do numbers.
Yes.
So I'm not landlocked to a number. If I want to make my wide receiver number 1, I'm going to make a wide receiver number 1. You know what I'm saying?
At the same time, I do
You don't
not
like
like it
You don't
because
like
I want my NFL to be my NFL. The receiver's going to have 80s to 89, and then maybe some of the teens. I feel like it should stay that way. That's why they changed it from NCAA.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's silly that the NFL does the numbering the way it does because I don't know. It'd be cool to see punters with 99.
Just think it's more organized, man. In my opinion. It's
I mean,
easy.
why does it have to be like why do you have to be landlocked to a certain number?
I don't know. I mean, that means these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. I guess they don't care. But I feel like it's easier maybe for fans as well. That way, I can't remember what number he is, but he's a receiver, so I know he's going to either be in the teens or in the 80s.
Why does it matter though? It's not how it used to be.
I have no idea how it used to be, but like I said, maybe it's just more weighted for them to keep
Players
organized.
used to wear whatever they wanted.
Yeah, I just think it's more organization. I mean, NFL is a pretty big organization, so they want to try to keep it a little compact.
I get it, but
No, I understand what you're saying.
Now this is good. This is a round table discussion right here.
I think that me personally, I think the NFL should be more like college. There's a lot of things in the college game that I think the NFL should adopt. Number 1 being the numbers. That's not number 1, but that's one.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think it's cool. I think receivers should be wearing single digit numbers. Your playmakers should be wearing single digits. That's how it is in college. That's how you know they're a good player.
Is
I'm serious. That's how you know. Like a lot of colleges, they save their single digit numbers for their star players. Seriously, number 1 and number 2 and all those numbers, they save them for their star players. Or that's a jersey that you earn.
USC, the linebacker number 55.
55. Yeah, Keith Rivers wore it. Ray Maluga wore it. Just I don't know. That's something. And then also overtime.
I agree with you overtime.
God, I hate the NFL.
And what are they doing now?
So much.
And now they're saying that games can just completely end with no overtime, right?
And now
it was in discussion,
and
and Blandino dropped out because his idea wasn't taken into consideration.
Well, they took off 5 minutes of overtime, so now it's only 10 minutes in overtime. It's not 15.
And that's enough for just really one drive if somebody won.
Yeah, well, that's what I was. I listened to a couple of NFL podcasts, and what they were saying is if you're a team that can pound the ball consistently, you can run out the clock and kick a field goal with 30 seconds left, and the game's over.
Yeah, and that's gonna bore fans. Nobody wants to see that.
And I don't know. It's just frustrating because I really truly think college has it right. And the fact that you get the ball at the 25-yard line, you have a chance to score. Look at all the exciting games in college and all these games that go into double and triple overtime. It just adds suspense. I mean, if we look at the Ohio State-Michigan game this past year that went into overtime, hard-fought game, and that overtime just added so much more suspense to it, with it being a rivalry game and everything, and with so much being on the line. And you add overtime to that. I mean, can you imagine the Cowboys and the Redskins going to overtime with the NFC East on the line and going blow for blow? Cowboys score a touchdown, Redskins answer back. Cowboys score a field goal, Redskins have it 3rd and goal on the 1. They can win it with a touchdown, but they get stuffed, so they end up going for the field goal, or they go for it and win the game. just so many great outcomes that can happen with the way college has overtime, and I think the NFL is really missing out on that. But whatever.
It's about having their own brand, and that's the reason they don't do it. I agree. It'd make it more exciting to kind of have the college overtime. At first, I disagreed with it, but kind of taking into consideration that it is on the 25. Teams are worried about their star players getting hurt, but if you're on the 25, you only have 4 plays, so it's not that big of a deal, really.
Well, you can get first downs.
You can get first downs,
Yeah.
but, I mean...
Yeah, so...
And we're passing it back to running, right?
Yeah, something really small, but something I just feel is really important. I understand, I think EA is trying to do this thing where they're trying to help people get their name out there. I want better music on the screens, okay? I'm tired of listening. I don't want to say they're trash, but this is not stuff I want to hear. There's maybe a couple songs that I've listened to of EA and kept. The other ones I just cut off, which I maybe kept 15% of the songs that they have playable.
Here's what I'm going to tell you to do, okay? Step 1. Every single song that they put in the game that's not the instrumentals or Sam Spence or none
Which
of the...
they actually taken out, didn't they?
No,
No,
it's in there. It's in there
there.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take off everything that's not that, and there you go.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. I would rather listen to the instrumentals than some of the crappy artists that they're
That's what I do. I uncheck all of the songs because they're all trash.
Yeah, they are.
You're trying to say they're not
and then
trash,
they're
but
putting
they are
country
trash.
music on this? Country doesn't fit into football. I mean, I understand what it was. Monday Night Football? Monday Night or Sunday Night Football? That's a country instrument. It doesn't fit in there. I want like Good Charlotte back. They had that one song from Ender Shikari, Seether. I miss like the old days, the old good music. Can we just bring that back? That's all I'm asking. It's not too hard, especially like if we did put the like rushing attack in here. I don't want to listen to country, trying to get crunk in a dirt road. I don't want that while I'm trying to hammer this ball down this dude's face. It's just I want to get into the zone. I can't do that with all this stuff they're bringing into now.
That's why you do all the instrumentals, the Sam Spence stuff.
I don't like that either.
Dude, that stuff's awesome. The NFL film stuff.
Put some like Papa Roach in there, man. I want to get grungy. I want to get some dirty football going. That's all I'm asking for. It's just something small. That's easy to do.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because I mean, the last few years have been bad.
Yeah.
Like soundtrack wise.
Yeah, EA has their own record label. Is that right?
I don't think so.
Do they not?
They actually have to pay those those artists money.
Yeah.
To include their
To do
stuff.
that.
Yeah, to do that.
I guess is it cheaper this way? Is that why they're not doing big bands anymore? I mean,
Probably.
Correct.
Like Drake, maybe like a song from Drake or stuff, but
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't 2K. We have LeBron, and he has all the hookups with his homies, and is like, "Yo, be in this game that I'm, on the cover of."
Yeah.
You don't have that.
But
So.
still, I mean, of course, you got like charismatic stars like Odell Beckham. He draws in a crowd.
They don't. I mean, it's something so small that they probably don't think it's worth the money, which it's not. Honestly.
It could be, but I mean, if NBA can do it without any problem, I'm sure the NFL could do it.
NBA has a culture though of like rap and hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong. Yeah, I totally get that. Then you know what? I'm gonna retract that statement.
No,
No, you don't
you're
have to
not.
retract
You're
it.
not wrong.
And there's people
I like
who
the idea.
agree
I
with
just
you.
mean that part. Just it should be easier for the NFL because you're right. The NFL really doesn't have cultural music with it. Of course, growing up, playing basketball. Like I'm not trying to sound anything, but most basketball players listen to rap. Obviously, Kendrick Lamar was a really big part of the championships this year.
Yeah.
With his new album coming out, and LeBron was the first one to hear that album, from what I understand.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying LeBron said his team couldn't listen to the record unless they were beating the team in the series they were in. If they beat the team, then he would let him listen to the record.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean that's where you got me. Is they definitely do have better connection to music, but
Right.
I just think it's something that like people would like to hear more. Not this.
Yeah.
I also think that the NBA has more. The NBA has a lot more stars than the NFL is, which is weird because the NFL has 1,800 players and the NBA has about 300.
But you also have only 6 guys on the court.
5.
5, okay, which is easier to point somebody out saying, "Wow, that guy's really good." We don't pay attention to linemen most of the time.
But if you think you think about this, you have NBA has about 15 guys that are completely better than the rest.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're better than the rest.
Right.
I don't think the NFL has that. The NFL has
Agreed.
probably. You're right, because there's 22 players on a field at all times versus 10.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a bigger connection between the players and music in the NBA than in the NFL. That's all I gotta say about that.
I agree with that. But that's just something I'd like back. Something I've been missing. I think maybe 2007 was maybe the last decent year they had, music-wise.
2008 was good.
I can barely remember 2000.
2008 was good. It had, I don't know. It was good.
Yeah.
2008 was good. 2009, I can't really remember. I didn't play 09 much. 10, it was when they brought back the...
Instrumentals, right?
No, 10 was when they brought back the older music. That Ozzy on there.
Oh, yeah.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff. And then they had new music, too. So that was good. But, yeah, dude, I totally agree with you. I was just saying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it's kind of a different wheel for me to think on anyway. But, yeah, you're right. That's just something I'd like to hear.
Yeah, more variety and better music. I do agree. We listen to country when playing football is a little silly.
I honestly just turn the volume down. Like, when I'm editing rosters, like, I just turn the volume down and, like, listen to a podcast, because I'm not listening to that stuff, dude.
I mean, there's some decent rap songs on there. Just the rock and the country. That's just killing ourselves there.
So, I'm going to take over here. I got one that is really near and dear to me, which is XP in franchise. I would like to see that really finely tuned, because a couple years ago they did introduce a patch with XP sliders, which was great, and it really allows you to customize how your game is and how much XP they get. But that's great, and I really like that they did that, and it's really helped out, and it's really helped franchise be more immersive than what it was. But one thing I would like is some positions don't get XP, such as defensive tackles, and mostly offensive linemen and fullbacks. They don't get XP because they don't really have any stats that are tracked. Defensive tackles, they're just there to stuff holes. They don't necessarily get the tackles. They don't necessarily get the sacks. All that stuff that defensive ends get and linebackers. They don't put up the stats, and neither do offensive linemen. You get your XP when you're an offensive lineman based on how good your quarterback does and your running back.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, but there should be a way for the XP to be more consistent for the trenches.
There needs to be more milestones. There needs to be more goals.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Because this year in our franchise, I drafted basically an all-rookie offensive line. I had Laramie Tunsil, Jack Muart, Ryan Kelly, Lael Collins, and some other rookie, Jack Conklin, I think. And I could not get them above like 81 overall because, for one, I couldn't run the ball. And, for two, there's not enough milestones for them to gain enough XP. I mean, another thing that they put in franchise this year is the, what's the word I'm looking for? Where players can change what their development is.
Right.
Season after season, I really like that. But that doesn't really happen with offensive linemen.
Right.
So you're pretty much locked in. Unless you get a superstar offensive tackle, you're not really getting that guy above 90 overall before he gets to where he starts regressing. That's just not happening. So that's something I like to see.
Yeah, just more milestones like, our offensive line helped our running back have a 5-yard carry per carry, or we ran for 200 yards.
Pancakes.
Pancakes are a part of it. They do give you experience somehow.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know exactly how they include that in. You don't see a lot of pancakes anyways, honestly, anymore, which is something I think they tuned, actually. But, yeah, just more milestones for all positions in general would be nice. Now, I know how they kind of did the milestones this year is, say you have a guy who isn't going to get much playing time, they give you easier milestones to reach, but the guys who are starters get like really hard milestones.
Yeah.
So they need to tune that a little differently, but more milestones. would help that.
I like that. I like that they did. If you have some backups, which I know you and I are really big into giving our backups PT and getting them meaningful snaps in the game, is that they get just a little XP for being in there for a play or two.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy that they did that because if you have a guy that's your third string, it's not going to get any XP unless he's on the practice squad, which I do like that. The practice squad actually gets decent XP. I don't know if you guys really paid attention to that. It actually get decent XP. So, like, if you put a guy on that's like a 65, 66 overall on the practice squad, you can get him like the 68, 69 at the end of that season, and he could be on your roster the next year.
Not bad.
Yeah, so.
How do you feel about the experience for some of those running or milestones?
I like the idea. I didn't feel like a lot of players got enough credit for, like how you said, like your backups being in for a little bit.
Mhm.
And, every rep should count, not just the plays they make, because sometimes maybe the play's not even going to come their way for a whole quarter. So, I mean, I think that's just something that needs to be taken into consideration. So, but I totally agree with the XP on that one.
Really needs to be worked out. Really, really, really. Especially since it's an XP system. They used to just do it, this player had this stats, so we're going to bump him up this many points. I do like the experience system in general over the stat system because you can blow up the stat system and just like get a 90 overall after he was 70.
Yeah, XP was
the right way to go.
XP was broken in 16, and they helped it a little bit in 17, but you could still, like I said, cheese up the stats and have a guy be 99 overall in 2 seasons. Like, that's just
right.
Kind of grinds my gears a little bit. I don't know. It would be something that would help out franchise mode immensely, because I know you and I were in that 32 team league, and
every other week they would break a record.
Right, every other week, you would break a record, and this is something else I'm going to say, like, in franchise, your Pro Bowlers. Pro Bowlers get a ton of XP and award winners, and that's one, for offensive linemen, like, most of the time, all 5 of the offensive linemen of the top offense in the league is going to make it.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. And it's hard to do that, I guess.
It used to be that where they spread it out in teams. I don't know how it got to the point it did.
Yeah, so if I have the number 1 rushing offense and I have a Pro Bowl caliber running back, odds are all 5 of my offensive line will be right there with them. And like we saw in last year's Madden, that makes one team completely unbeatable, because the guy that had Derrick Henry as his running back as the MVP, his offensive line was all 5 of them were in the 90s, like nothing. Because XP, so they're in the right direction with the XP sliders. Just needs to be tuned quite a bit, especially in the trenches.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that 100%. All right, so I guess I'm gonna throw one of my ideas out there. Player personalities, just for CFM in general, player personalities. Oh well, this guy's kind of a cancer. For to make free agency a little more interesting in general.
So like a TO.
Yeah, a TO or somebody.
Let's be honest.
You're not wrong.
Let's be honest.
Had to put my boy on blast.
Somebody who's more of a. You guys can shoot some ideas off of that.
So yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that'd be cool. But like, what do you want to see come out of that though? You have the player personalities, but like, what do you want to see happen with those? You know what I'm saying?
Add more variety to free agency and how teams go after players. That's really what I'm basing off of free agency, because free agency is just so stale. They tried to fix it last year, but it's still.
I mean, it's kind of like a nice chemistry factor too.
Something they should introduce. They have an ultimate team, but they don't have a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that could also tie into like Jacob said earlier, on the the in-depth, almost like the whole route of playing the games, talking to coaches, stuff like that. Also have to make decisions, as you said, would be like team cancer. Trying to bounce around that, because obviously that can tear a team down. That'd be a fun factor to try to have to avoid.
Look at the Jets.
But something they do kind of have in there that kind of represents that is if your player is
I know what you're talking about.
It's
there is a personality.
There is a. It's for free agency based. re-signing with your team. I forgot what it's called, but player. I don't even know. My brain fart.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what you're talking. I can't think.
I feel like they should flesh it out more, just in general.
So you think like so let's take Randy Moss for example. After he got traded to the Raiders, or did he get was he traded or did he sign with the Raiders?
I can't remember.
I think he was traded.
Sounds right.
So would you say he was a free agent after that? Would your team have like a rating to them, or like a locker room rating to them, to where like the Patriots, they would have like a locker room rating and be able to have those players on their team that wouldn't negatively affect it. But if they go to a team like now, so if you took someone like, oh God, I'm trying to think of give me an example in today's.
Like a bad person?
Not necessarily. Okay, say if I had, not to put him on blast or anything, but like have Odell Beckham, who isn't the greatest leader. If you have him on a team like
emotionally unstable.
Yeah, if you have him on a team like the Jets, who honestly doesn't have the best
veteran core anymore.
Yeah, veteran core or stability or anything, that should negatively affect to where your quarterback might have some awareness drop down for, the game or whatever. So that would be something cool, just to kind of piggyback on your idea. That would be something cool.
And that's where I kind of want to, to kind of piggyback off, just throw some more ideas out there for the personalities, just I don't know, more fleshed out free agency.
So would Cincinnati just always be negatively affected in their games, or?
I don't think Cincinnati necessarily. If we're gonna talk football for a second, I don't really think they have a negative locker room.
They don't.
They have some players that have made some questionable decisions.
Year after year, multiple times with this season.
There's only a couple players, dude. You just have Perfect and Pac-Man.
But I mean, Perfect, honestly, like maybe in game, like he's just aggressive.
Well, that's the thing.
But you got it.
And that's what I'm talking about, player personality also. That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Which they kind of still do have. They have the, penalties on discipline, but more player personality on the field.
Yeah,
etc.
Definitely.
In general.
But I mean, and then you got guys like Pac-Man Jones. Like, how are they still in the NFL? It blows my mind.
I mean, Frank Clark almost killed a woman, but he's getting paid millions.
He actually got cut by the Seahawks.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Still,
if I remember correctly.
He's gonna get picked up. He's a good player.
It's just,
but I mean, you have to look at those things. Richie Incognito almost bullied a kid into killing himself, but he's getting paid millions by the Bills. So
maybe that's what I need to do.
And once again, to kind of play off of the player personalities, another thing I have on there is more player traits, kind of like NBA 2K, where you have all kinds of different, stuff that they have, like 3-pointer, microwave, stuff like that.
Oh, like traits.
Yeah, more traits.
Okay.
More traits.
They had that.
They do. They did. And they took it out, like they had like a route runner kind of thing. And
I don't really think it did anything.
I don't feel like it did.
It's just kind of an aesthetic thing.
It did, but they gave it like boost and it broke the game. I just want to see more player lightness. I want LT to feel like LT. That's kind of what I'm going off of.
Okay. Yeah.
More true to life players.
Yeah, I'd like to see that for sure. I got something here that we can all probably agree on is I want to see a more realistic medium between All Pro and All Madden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because at this stage, we all play All Madden. We play on All Pro for playing against each other, but All Madden in franchise mode, and the computer cheats. It does.
It does.
Which is fine because I want to challenge and I don't want to put up 60 points a game. But I also want to feel like I'm playing football and not against a computer. I want it to be at least a bit realistic to where the computer's not playing, not knowing exactly what I'm doing when the play is called. I don't want to feel like I'm being cheated. I don't want a running back. I don't want Chris Ivory to break 5 tackles on me and run over my entire defense that has 5 90+ overalls on it and completely gash my team for 250 yards, because it doesn't happen.
And I agree with you. All Madden's crazy, and I'm hoping the sim and competitive, the sim will fix that. So I'm really hoping the ratings will play more a factor. assuming in all Madden. We don't know yet. They play on All Pro in the EA play.
It's kind of like you're saying, I'd like to have more of a chess match kind of game, not all the odds are against me type of game. Because at that point, you just feel like you're just going to lose.
You pretty much got to stick with the same thing on Madden against the computer. You have to do the same thing over and over and over.
And that's where those things are broken, is what we're sticking to.
Like in the fourth quarter, like
it's so ridiculous.
If you're in a tight game with the computer, all Madden in the fourth quarter, and it comes down to them, the last drive of the game, and they need a touchdown to win, they're going to complete almost every single pass in that drive, and you got to get lucky. That's honestly how it is. You could call the right play, and it really doesn't matter. They're going to run the correct route, and they're going to catch it, and you really have to make a play, which I kind of like, but why can't it be like that all game? And why can't it be more realistic?
And I think it's kind of funny, too, because when they do got to catch everything, you can actually see the game slow down and the animations kind of morph a little bit to where it's favoring the quarterback.
Yep.
And that's just, I would go through so many controllers. I mean, I've already just broke one this year, but that wasn't just one compared to many.
Yeah, all Madden just needs to be worked out in general. It really does. I feel like it's gotten better, from like the past. In the past, it was the computer really did cheat. Like you flipped the play or you audibled, they knew exactly what you called. They don't. It's not that bad anymore, but it seems like all the players just on the field have a boost in all Madden.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, especially the stamina. They do not get tired.
So hopefully the sim thing does fix that. Ronnie, you got anything else you?
One or two more. I know you guys don't really much agree with this one, but I feel like the 12th man should be more of a factor.
I didn't say I don't
disagree with that.
I don't disagree.
Well, I remember I brought it up maybe the first episode, and I wouldn't say you guys didn't agree with it, but you guys just weren't too much of a fan of it. But when you had the Legion of Boom that year, when they went to the Super Bowl the first time, that's what they called it, the 12th man.
Because, that's always been.
Well, that's always been.
But I mean, like, it was just more. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm just gonna say noticeable. It was more noticeable. They made more of an impact. For some reason, just more at Seattle than anywhere else because the way it's a dome there, right?
No.
Seahawks
fan. Just the way the stadium is constructed.
Yeah.
It allows it to be very loud. But Seattle fans are crazy. Like they've always been like that. Just because that's the only team they have up there.
And I just feel like that should be more of a factor. Almost like the NCAA had when the crowd got loud, your receivers aren't going to hear the hot routes.
I can agree with that, but teams do prepare for like signals and stuff. So I feel like the awareness should play a factor in that. I really do. Mm-hmm. I feel like the awareness should play a factor, which it did in the NCAA. If you had a freshman who has a 50 or 40 awareness, he wasn't gonna know his route. Mm-hmm. Compared to a senior who had 80 plus awareness. So I do kind of wish they did do it. I do agree with you with the no huddle. I used to always say, well, that's your awareness, where you would get stuck and you couldn't do anything, or you
couldn't change the play.
But that's just a bug. Maybe reintroduce that into an actual feature.
Yeah, and kind of like your chemistry thing. With momentum, the crowd's behind your back. You're gonna have maybe your player's gonna play a little bit better with the crowd behind them.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you make a turnover finally after you've been getting smashed, that's going to help you out a little bit more. I just like to see the crowd have more of an effect on the team. Just kind of have your back.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea. There's a lot of people who are actually asking for it. We all have our different areas or how we feel about the game, and it's always a good...
I just, like, I agree with Josh in that I would be okay with that if it was awareness-based, but I don't want my screen shaking. Like, if that's how it used to be in like a couple NCAA games, to where if the computer went up like 10-0 on you and they're home, it would be shaking and you could not hot route anything, like at all. You couldn't hot route it, so you were stuck with the play that you had. So I mean, I don't know. I don't want to see anything like that. I'd like to hear the crowd be louder if things are going your way. If I'm beating the crap out of a team, and I want it to be deafening, and if I'm losing, I want the crowd to be silent.
Right. They do have some. They did. I don't know if it was 17 or 16. They did have that feature in there, But you had to have like a headset or something on to actually hear it.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Because it's not like they can't do it, because you can quiet down the crowd and you can pump them up, but
It doesn't.
There's no dynamic feel to
when
it.
you quiet them down, they do quiet though.
Right.
So I mean, it's not like they can't do it. Because if I'm getting completely thrashed at home, like I don't want my crowd to be, up on it. And if I start to gain some more momentum, then I want the crowd to pick up a little bit.
Exactly.
Just have a dynamic crowd noise.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, is what I would call that.
It's just something I'd like to have.
More realism, more immersive. That's
More customization.
more customization. That's it.
Well, that ends the episode.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff, and I know what they're just trying to focus on gameplay mainly and get a lot of the bugs fixed, and then marketing is trying to force things down their throat, like the back of the box features they want to see, so that always holds things up a little bit. But Jake, back on to you, sir.
Okay. We talked about this, I think, in the last episode, but improved trench play. Just better offensive line, defensive line interactions. Like I said, we talked about this.
More control over the defensive line, please.
Yeah.
I want a swim move. I want to build a club.
Yep. And then just better offensive line play. That's all. I mean, just have better. I know you talked about Clint, as an offensive lineman, and he's working on that. So hopefully that's something we could see next year. Maybe is better offensive line play. We got the quarterback, wide receiver interactions. It's a really big thing this year. So hopefully next year that's something that they're looking at doing.
Well, the play is better.
Yeah.
But there isn't one's I would say a vocal. Well,
it isn't a feature.
It isn't a back of the box feature. Yes.
Yeah, because I mean that. I want to be able to draft dominant offensive line, and I want them to be dominant. I don't want them to be to where I can't run the ball.
Right.
Like this franchise game that we just played. I have a really good offensive line. I was only able.
And I stuffed you. Although I had a really good defensive line too.
But. True. But I feel like I should have had more than 25 yards on 15 carries.
And that I really feel like Madden AT is going to hit the ball out of the park with that. I really do. But there needs to be more to it. There really does.
I also don't want to be sucked into the back of my offensive lineman too.
Yes.
If I'm taking a inside zone to the right and I see that it's clogged, but there's a lane right on the back side of my center, and I try to cut real quick and I run straight into my center's back, that was the most annoying thing in the world because it completely kills a play, and it kills everything about it. Because if I have 5 or 6 yards there and it's second down, and now I'm facing a 3rd and 10 rather than a 3rd and 4, and it's a drive killer. So that's one thing I'd like to see better. Just running the ball, offensive line interactions with the defensive line. I want to see. We talked about that to where going to be more pancakes off the ball.
Yes.
So I want to see defensive linemen completely destroy offensive linemen.
Yeah, I want to see a big Vince Wilfork push the center back in like we used to see. Not as badly, because I used to be able to take a Vince Wilfork and push the center right in your guys' face each and every play. I don't want that, but I want to see that. Not every play.
No, not every play, but I want to see it happen
I
consistently. If you have a dominant defensive tackle, I want that pocket to be moved in.
Because that's the strength of a 3-4. That's what the whole nose tackle is supposed to be able to push up the middle. Just the off the line and defensive line interactions, I agree, that it needs to be much fleshed out. Ronnie, how do you feel about it? What's your take on all that?
Kind of the same way. Obviously, I use the defensive end all the time. I want more versatile ways to attack the quarterback. I want to actually feel like my guy's making an impact instead of I'm either getting lucky and hitting that sweet spot on the X or A, or I'm not. Because, it's not like you're there or not. It's either you're going to work your... Yeah, exactly. I want to... I'm going to wear him down and just have more ways to get to it. I hate feeling defenseless just because I can't get the green spot. It's
right.
That's not right.
Yeah, and that's something that they said that with the corner and wide receiver interactions, there's multiple times to win and lose. That's what they need to do with the defensive line and offensive line. Multiple times to win and lose. I feel like that would help.
Yeah.
A lot, tremendously. Because it's either a win or lose, and you just get
sack.
off the block shed. You get the sack.
Yeah.
Or you're blocked. You're not going to get a sack.
Yeah, like you have no chance if you don't get off that snap directly when he calls hike. You're not going to get to that quarterback unless he force runs out of the pocket and extends the play.
Right. Ronnie, you're up, sir.
Probably my last one, and it's just short and sweet. I want more weather control.
Dynamic weather?
Yes. I want to be able to have more control about what's going to happen. I don't want maybe just overcast or snowy. I want more dynamic features to it that I can control. You know, like how much of precipitation is going to have, how the wind's going to go.
Oh, you're just talking about customization. You're not talking about...
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's a good idea. No, that's fine.
I think something that would be cool. I feel like I am on your back constantly today because I'm piggybacking off you. But something I would like to see is, you have a overcast game in the first quarter, and the second quarter it downpours.
That's dynamic weather. That's what I'm talking about.
Also, if you're playing a play now mode, and I'd like to, instead of having, if you choose like rainy weather, it's almost always 17 to 18 mile an hour winds, with it being downpouring the whole entire time.
I think this is what Ronnie's talking about.
Yeah.
The
If
customization.
I'd like to choose, maybe do like 6 mile an hour winds and like drizzle, or 10 mile an hour winds and steady pour, or 6 mile an hour winds and torrential downpour.
I like
Just
to
have
see
more
heavy
options.
snowfall.
Yeah.
Most times you just see like almost like slate. It's just covering the ground.
Yeah.
I like to see some more, elemental.
And have it affect, which it does, the wide receivers slip and such, but other than that...
That's just a dice roll. It's really nothing. Even in regular weather, you see it. So it's not... It is weather impacted, but it isn't. I don't know. But yeah, more wide receiver slipping and corner slipping. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for me though. I want more customization on it. I want to be able to have fun with the weather.
Yeah. All right, so something we discussed last time, which expansion teams, just to kind of dive deeper into that a little bit. Maybe you can replace a team, etc., because they're more be able to customize how you're doing the expansion team. That's kind of where I'm gonna go with it, and then pretty much it's just a draft, and that's why I like it. You're building a team from the bottom, from the bottom.
So you kind of... Yeah, that would be cool. Like, so what you are saying kind of is you want to take control of a team from start, and you want to have like an expansion draft?
Yes.
Like an actual expansion.
I want to have an actual expansion draft. I want to, and maybe something to bounce off of what NFL head coach would do. You can go back in time and redo the draft. So I'm an expansion team. I get to be a part of that draft, and then I get to do the actual expansion draft.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
It's funny that you're coming up with this because expansion has been in the news in the past week.
yes,
Like, I feel like I've been seeing expansion everywhere just because the NHL got a new team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So everyone's all in the expansion wagon now. It seems like a big topic. So, yeah, I would love to see that. I would totally do that.
and you guys know me. I like building a team from top to bottom. I like using all those guys. And Jake's the same way. He likes using all those guys. So with using an expansion team, all 53 guys are actually going to matter because you're not going to have superstars on your roster pretty much
For a couple of years.
Yeah. So I mean, be able to, and then with the expansion teams, maybe introduce the creative team, the team builder that NCAA had, so you can customize, your logos and all that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because I was watching that expansion draft for the Vegas Knights, and then I YouTubed the Texans expansion draft and how weird that was, and just thinking of all the players that they got, and none of them really turned out for them besides Jamie Sharper. Tony Baselli retired before the year. That was their first pick, and Tony Baselli retired before the year even started. They had Aaron Glenn. He was solid. I'm trying to think of other guys, but that's about it. They had some Jermaine Lewis from the Ravens. Other than that, like they didn't have very much. So that would take you. It would take you a couple years to really get competitive.
And that's the whole thing. NCAA, you could take over a really crappy team, and you would struggle. I want to be able to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could take the Browns to the Super Bowl if I wanted to, and all matter.
Yeah, that really kind of takes that goes into another thing with all Madden too. I want it to be competitive. I want to lose. I want to lose 5 or 6 games a year. I don't want to go 16-0.
Exactly. But yeah, just I know I keep on bringing it up. It's just one of those things. I know it can mess up the alignment, and that's why I said maybe replace a team and maybe introduce 4 or how had customization to it. Say I want to add a team to each division that's expansion.
Team builder.
Yeah, team builder, team builder, team builder, and a lot of people in the community are asking for team builder within Madden. So
yeah, I mean even just replacing a team would be cool.
Yeah,
because it happens. Like Bud Adams took off to Tennessee, and they lost a team, and then they got one 5 years later. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's something that I would like to see. I would definitely play that. I'm not sure how much I would, but I would.
I'd really enjoy it. I'd probably play it quite a bit.
And I understand why EA Sports probably hasn't done it is because it's going to brandish the NFL shield.
Yeah.
And that's why. But, I mean, it's not like I'm asking for a player to get suspended because he's doing drugs, which a lot of people are requesting because it used to be in the game. They would get suspended. That's why that isn't in there, because it's brandishing the NFL logo, shield, whatever. So I understand, but just another mode, another option. Jake, Ronnie, did you say you had any more things?
I have
Yeah, stuff. One thing I'd like to see in franchise mode, which a lot of these things are about, I want to see, and I know they can't do this, but I'd like to see it anyway. I want to see assistant coaches in franchise. I want to hire Kyle Shanahan. I want to hire Anthony Lynn. I want to hire McVay. I want to hire these guys. I want to hire Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, all those guys, because once a coach retires, you got a fake coach, and
hate it.
It's
One thing they used to have was the players would be coordinators or head coaches. They would come in when they retire, and you'd have options.
That's in 2K. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in 2K. Like,
they had an older Maddens too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year I was playing 2K16 when it came out, and I was doing their franchise mode, which is not very good, honestly. But I fired my coach. I was a GM. I fired my coach, and I was able to, have Ray Allen as my coach and Kevin Garnett as an assistant. That was cool. So, but I mean, that's more prevalent in basketball because you see a lot more of that in basketball. Because
right,
Jason Kidd's a coach now, and he's only been out of the league for a year or so. So, yeah. Did you see Byron Leftwich as the Cardinals quarterback?
Oh yeah, he was last year. Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw an article. Bruce Arians says he's going to be like a head coach in no time. So, it's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, Ronnie, having, say, Wes Welker, your wide receiver coach or your offensive coordinator, I think you'd enjoy that a little bit.
I would. That'd be a childhood dream.
Also,
I think that's what I do. That's who I formed my gameplay around. It's Wes Welker.
To add on to that, you just kind of sparked that in my mind. Why can't we have control over all of our coaches?
Exactly.
Why can't I sign a wide receivers coach that can actually, because they do this with the head coach where you have an XP boost. Why can't I hire a really good wide receivers coach? Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Who would increase your route running?
Yeah, increase my players' route running.
Yes.
And have an XP boost rather than it just be on the head coach.
Yep.
Once again, kind of an ultimate team feature that needs to be introduced into CFM, chemistries and stuff like that. Just, please.
And, like, I don't know, like, it would just be cool to just have, like, complete control of your team. Like, this guy is an up-and-coming offensive line coach. And, maybe when my coach retires, I promote him.
Exactly.
It's just something to think about, EA, so.
And not really the bounce off of that, but the bounce off of that, just all the NFL head coach features. I know not everybody will be able to put the time into. Maybe make it its own separate mode or something, but just have an NFL head coach mode with all the features, and you play on the field still too. Because there was some really cool stuff, like you would practice a play, and you'd have like a percentage of, like your team would like get a boost from it.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't practice a play, if you didn't have a good core of starters as your veterans, then you were not going to be successful with that play. Just to kind of give you an idea what an NFL head coach introduced, like you there was all kinds of different stuff, but NFL head coach.
Kind of bouncing off of that, NCAA 14 had coaching editing, to where you could edit. So I mean, Operation Sports will be all over that.
Yeah.
So that would have something cool, and I know it has to do with likeness because I don't think the NFLPA protects assistants, right? Is that accurate? They don't have a EA doesn't have a contract with them or something.
Something like that.
So I mean, that's just cool. Just more customization is all. Because there's just 32 head coaches. That's it. And they go around, and eventually they all retire. So if you're in like year 20 of your franchise, they're all gone. So you just have fake coaches. It's just kind of
Skills immersion.
more realism, more immersion. But this is probably my last thing it's my last thing I have on my list. I might think of something while someone else is talking, but fumbles. We talked about this an episode or two ago, to where there's just a dog pile on the ball, which is how it is, but it doesn't look good. There's just guys running past the ball, not grabbing it, or not even attempting to dive on it, just running past the ball and completely missing it.
There needs to be a functionality to the fumbles.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something small that really should be fixed, honestly, because I'm tired of losing fumbles like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's annoying,
it feels like you can get them yourself, but the functionality to it is really bad. It's really, really bad.
If I get strip sacked and I try to recover it with my offensive lineman who's not blocking anyone, and I go straight to him, and he doesn't run back for it, it's just like, come on, Yeah. But that's all I got for the fumbles. Ronnie, do you have anything else on your list or anything?
No.
Bouncing, piggybacking off anything?
No, I agree with the fumbling though. It looks like air hockey.
Yeah.
Kind of for a second. So.
Anything for you?
Not for the fumbles. I kind of put my 2 cents on it. I just want more functionality, be able to actually make a play on the ball. Not fight for the fumble per se, for the button mashing, but a way to actually make a play on the ball would be nice, other than just attempting to run to it. Redo scouting. I think we all can agree on that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
The scouting on CFM. Oh, an A for catching. Blah, blah, blah. Kind of like how older Maddens did it. They would say, this quarterback he's good at putting it in between the 20 and the 30 yards downfield, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe take the college stats and somehow intertwine that into the scouting.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just have 3 unlockable traits that you can see, just give more and more info. Like, not tied towards ratings, so when you draft somebody, you don't necessarily know, well, this guy's really going to be good. It's more of a dice roll.
Very cool. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Oh, I was going to say, kind of going into that, I was thinking, kind of reminded me like the older Maddens I think I talked about last week. Now that I think about it, I believe what they did, like, in those newspaper articles, they would give you names of, like, people, I guess, in college that were about to come in the next year and hype them up.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of knew what to look for.
The guys that had the articles about them always had superstar.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
So, it's just kind of something that ruined it. Like, you knew who to pick if you had like a top 5 pick. You knew who to pick.
Right.
Just I would like what you just said actually sparked like a couple things in my head.
Good.
that
I was hoping that
I had
would.
forgotten, because one thing I'd like to see is complete ability to edit a draft class like 2K has.
Mm-hmm.
2K you can edit a draft class, which
You can share it.
you can share it.
You can use it for any year.
Absolutely.
You have multiple years.
Yeah. So something once again that one thing that kills the immersion of franchise for me is the fake players. And instead of having to go in and edit every single one to actual players, which sucks, you could have a team like Operation Sports go in and completely do it right and have it done in a week, and have an accurate draft class that you can use and actually draft the players that instead of drafting fake players and then editing them and saying, "Oh, this is Sam Darnold. This is Josh Rosen. This is trying to think of someone coming out next year probably." But yeah.
Yeah, I had that on my list too. That I said, a la NBA 2K, because they excellent way to just give you more customization. Because once again, kills immersion playing with fake players. Yes, they've done better at building these players. EA has, and that's part of the reason why they haven't done it yet, because they put so much work into it. But customization, it wins you sales.
Can we have more player faces too?
Yes, please.
Player faces, body types,
the body types
faces
in Madden 18 look pretty good, by the way.
do that. That's cool because like if we're talking about like the rookies, the fake rookies, like in the picture you would have like a chubby guy and he's actually like 180-pound wide receiver. So I don't know. That's just something, and then. Also, and this is probably going to be my final thing unless I think of something else, but it's really big for me. And just more roster customization. Like, let me do everything I need in the home screen, like in the rosters.
Right.
Because
it gets tedious doing it in CFM.
In the franchise. Just let me do everything outside and just take it to franchise. Hopefully that's something to think of, or make it I know there's mods to where you can do it at home, like, and enter it in manually, and I doubt that'll ever happen, but like I would love to just be able to do it from my computer. Like, that would be so cool. But yeah, that's probably my final thing. It would just help out a lot for roster editors like myself. So
And I can agree with that. It's so time consuming. It really is. It takes so much time to do all that. It really does. And the final thing I'm gonna throw out there is NBA 2K has a game wide currency,
VC.
which I would like to see somehow Madden introduce that, so you don't have to play MUT to just get your MUT stuff, or you can put it into your superstar, kind of like once again NBA 2K does. This isn't specifically for. I'd like to see it, yes, but it's not something I'm high on. But it would be just kind of cool because you used to be able to play online head-to-head, and you'd get stuff so you could take in the MUT, so you could spend coins. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be more interesting and more useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's nothing that I would ever use, but like, as far as if we did have a career mode, like, I don't know, I kind of hate that, being able to like buy it and stuff, because if they do, you can't, because if EA did something like 2K, like a park, you can't really do that with football.
Oh, I'm not saying park.
Well, I know I'm saying that, but like, if they did introduce something like that,
That'd be pretty cool.
I would
Meet up in a field and just have a pickup game. That'd be pretty sick.
There we go. There's a wish list idea right there.
It's I don't know. I just hate the idea of buying stuff.
It's for the people who don't have the time.
I know.
That's kind of why I said it. I do kind of like it for certain things, but it's not one of my top priorities. Once again, we're speaking for just more than ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of where I'm going with it a little bit.
All right. Well, I think we're all out of ideas, honestly. About an hour.
I mean, we could come up with more, but,
That's a good solid hour and 15 minutes of talking about straight wish lists, so I'll throw it to you, dude.
One final thing, and I'm not really going to talk about it, because we already discussed it. Commissioner tools. We all would want more commissioner tools. Take away picks from people who abuse, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, guys, that's really it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. The support lately has been great. We have over 102 views for 2 episodes, so thank you very much. Subscribe, like. We'll have more content for you soon, probably next week.
Maybe sooner.
So tune in next time, guys. Thank you again. Bye-bye.